got the hang of this thing now, y'all. I got the hang of it now. All right, day 11. And this one's going to be big. What I'm about to teach you all tonight, um, it, it will make or break a potential relationship that you will ever get in. Take your notes. Y'all, be cognizant of what I'm saying. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. All right? Because today's all about 12 pillars of love, specifically emotional needs. Either meeting your partner's emotional needs or letting your partner know what your emotional needs are. So, I told you guys before, I came across this concept years ago. And I was reading this book that I'm going to talk about tonight. The book is called His Needs, Her Needs. And and um, and the author, William Harley, he said something that was so powerful and it stuck with me. And he was talking about the feeling that you're in love. And he said what he said was he said he's a psychologist and he said I've coached and I've counseled hundreds of couples. And what I realized, all of the ones who were about to break up, all of the ones who divorced, all of the ones who split up, said that the reason they split up is because they didn't love the person anymore. They just didn't love them anymore. And he explored that a little more deeply. And he says, what do you mean you don't love them anymore? And he says, they were talking about, well, I don't have that feeling of being in love. All right. And so as he explored that on a deeper level, and as he began to survey all of these clients, he came to some conclusions. And tonight, as I've read the book 3 times, I use it in my coaching practice with couples. And couples will ultimately go through this because it is the thing that either will save your relationship or expedite the demise of it. All right. And so tonight, as we talk about the feeling of love and emotional needs, you're going to understand it a lot better. Okay? His Needs, Her Needs by William Farley Jr. Now, I coach after reading it. I added my own twist to it, of course. But the gist of it was just like, yo, this is like, it hit me the first time. It wasn't until I read it the third time that I understood the practicality of it, that I understood how it actually either helps a relationship to work, how to use it in a practical way, or solidify the demise of the relationship. And I'm going to show y'all this tonight. And y'all listen to me. Listen to me closely. I know y'all want relationships. The truth is getting in a relationship is not that hard. You can get in a relationship. Many of y'all have an opportunity to get in relationships right now. But getting in the relationship with the right person and somebody who really makes it want to work and are doing the things that make it work, that's a lot more difficult. Yeah, you can get in a relationship with somebody and y'all can have great sex, but how far is that gonna go? I always tell people after you done came a few times, then you like, is that all we got? When it's all said and done, can you talk to the person? Can you share? And if there's no intimacy in it, what good is it? All right, here we go. So we're gonna jump right in. What he found in his study, after studying all of those couples, he found that number one, when somebody felt like they were in love, they would stay in the relationship. When he found that the person was out of love as they thought it, they would leave the relationship. But then he said, well, wait a minute. That doesn't make sense because he realizes, just like I realize, I've told you, the in love feeling comes from, part of it comes from the release of hormones in your body, the release of the oxytocin, the bonding chemical, the release of the dopamine, the feel good chemical, and the release of the serotonin, the calming chemical. So when you have this cocktail, you feel like, wow, I'm in love, especially early on in a relationship. When you were early on in a relationship, how many of you felt like, wow, we kicking it, we going out, we have so much in common. They are like awesome. And you're thinking they're texting you every day and telling you all of the things that you want to hear. Love bombing you to the 10th degree. Okay? That happens on both sides of the relationships, men and women, right? A man finds a woman he thinks is the one. She doesn't argue with me. She does. I mean, it's just amazing. Only to find out 6 months into the game that the person really isn't who we thought they were. Okay. So, but then he went a step further and he said this. He said that what made a person feel like they were in love after they got past the honeymoon stage, which is the release of the dopamine, oxytocin, and the serotonin. Once you got past that stage, the honeymoon stage, then you get into what we call the power struggle stage. And then you get into some other stages of a relationship where you call it the committed stage or the blissful state when you get to all of those stages. But what makes a person decide that I'm going to stay? He said, when he analyzed everything, it boiled down to I feel I'm in love when my emotional needs are being met. When my emotional needs aren't being met, I don't feel like I'm in love. Now, think about this for a moment, y'all. When somebody is meeting your needs, your emotional needs, and we're going to go over what those emotional needs are, what they look like, all of that, you feel like, wow, I love this person. They're willing to do things, they're willing to give me what I need. Okay. But when that person stops meeting that need, all of a sudden you begin looking at the person through another lens. And then he said, okay, I want to deduce if people feel, how can I keep a couple, either put a couple back together. See, the reason why I'm great at putting relationships back together when there have been problems is because I know how to get them back to the love. Because I know love, the idea of being in love is cyclical. I know how to get them back there. Some work, but I know how to get them back. All I got to do is find out who they are, and then I know how to help them find their way back to it if both parties are willing. Okay, so let's move. Now, in the beginning of the relationship, it's all about novelty. It's all about newness. All right, we're doing stuff together we never done before. We're going to the winery together. We're going to Pilot Mountain together. Pilot Mountain is somewhere near me, y'all. And then that's where the wineries are. I took my wife to the winery. I was like, I didn't even know you could get drunk at a winery. We did a taste test. I sat there and tasted about 40 different wines, and I was bent. I was like, I don't even drink like that. And I was like this. And I was like, am I supposed to feel like this? Anyway, okay, let me go on. I digress. In the beginning, it's about novelty. It's about newness. It's about discovering something. Now we're doing all the new stuff, having sex in the car, all the new stuff. We drinking and we doing it behind the building and we hanging out in places. We're going to Vegas and we're doing all that stuff. We're discovering things in the beginning. But then, as we walk through the relationship, when the discovery part is over, I know how you operate. I know what you feel like, what you smell like, all of these things. It's not new anymore. That is when the work begins. Okay? That's when the work begins. You start with this. Everybody, write this down. A relationship is an unwritten contract. And in that unwritten contract, each party says, my job is to meet your needs. I am signing up for that I'm going to meet your emotional needs. You don't have to say it. That is what we're all signing up for. You're signing up to meet my emotional needs. Okay? That is what the unwritten contract states. That is what it says. Okay? Think about it, y'all. If I need attention and I tell you that I need attention, I tell you that I like attention in the relationship I'm not getting enough attention. That is an emotional need that I have. And the other party is unwilling to meet that need. How long will the relationship last? Probably not long. Okay. And so, y'all, the reason why I say it's an unwritten contract, because if what if first of all, let me go to this. The number one reasons relationships end, be it divorce, be it just us going together, be it whatever, is because of uncommunicated expectations. Uncommunicated expectations. I have a need, but I have not communicated it to you. And then this need is going to fester inside of me. And then I'm going to determine that you can't meet the need. All right. And then I'm going to determine I'm walking away from the relationship. Y'all tell me how many, anybody can tell me on this thing, on this call, that you did not leave a relationship. You left the relationship because of unmet expectations. Now, some of them might be communicated. All right. But uncommunicated expectations. Some might be communicated, but either way, the other person did not want to or desire to meet that need, or they weren't meeting the need. If they desired it, they weren't meeting the need. Okay. So that's what the contract is. Whenever you get in a relationship, the reason why this module, this pillar is important, because you got to find out what their needs are. Right? Because if you don't know and you walk through the relationship, you move through the relationship in a way, but you don't know what the needs are, what's going to happen? If you don't know what the needs are, you're not going to meet them. If they don't tell you what the needs are, you're not going to meet them. So I'm going to show y'all how to find out what people's needs are. Okay. But remember, when you get in a relationship, you're signing an unwritten contract that says, I'm going to meet your need. And you're going to find out that you need to find out what their needs are prior to getting too deep emotionally in it. What is an emotional need? Write this down. A craving, when satisfied, leaves you with the feeling of happiness and contentment. And when unsatisfied, leaves you with the feeling of unhappiness and frustration. Emotional need is a craving. When satisfied, leaves you with the feeling of happiness and contentment. And when unsatisfied, leaves you with the feeling of unhappiness and frustration. How many of you feel frustrated if your one of your needs is financial support and this food don't want to work? How many? Okay. How many men, one of their needs is sexual fulfillment, but she don't want to give that thing up. Frustration. Okay. And so what you're going to find out is we're going to find out, how do you rate it? How high is it on their list of high? Because a 30-year-old guy and a 55-year-old guy, their needs are a little bit different. Okay. And so you got to find out who it is for who you're working with. All right. Bridget, you had a question? Okay, cool. Cool. No, okay. The 10 basic emotional needs. First things first, allow me to go over what they are so that we'll understand. Now, when I say 10 basic, they either fall under this category or somewhere in this category. And I'll explain each one of them. I'll explain each one of them right now. I'll explain each one. Okay? Here we go. They're in no particular order, y'all. I just numbered them like this. They're in no particular order. Affection. Affection. In a relationship, one of the needs of people is affection. Affection might be holding hands, it might be physical touch, it might be spending time together, us just laying on each other. I'm not talking about sex here. When I talk about affection, I'm talking about us in being in each other's space. Okay, that's what I'm talking about when I say affection. The second one, sexual fulfillment. I'm actually talking about the act of sex. We're all sexual creatures. We're all sexual beings. And some people, and sexual fulfillment, that's why we did a whole thing on sex and intimacy. It is important in a relationship. Now, it is more important to some people than others. Some people rank it high, some people rank it low. But either way, it falls on the list. Number three is conversation. Why is conversation so important? Conversation is important because it is important because conversation leads to intimacy. What did I say? It leads to intimacy. And so the reason why conversation is important to people is because the more conversation we can have, the more intimate we can be. And so what I tell people, when I tell people this, I'm like, listen, at the end of the day, what I want you to do is understand, understand that, mm, no, understand that if you're not having conversation, if you're not having conversation, then you're not having intimacy. You're not having intimacy, right? And so a lot of times, okay, so let me break this down. A lot of times you have men that that don't want to communicate. And y'all, this is where coaching comes in. Listen to me closely. And women get mad. He don't want to talk. He don't want to communicate. He don't want to share what's going on with him. And I say, first off, seek to understand, then be understood. Because what you don't know about men, maybe you do know it, but you don't want to acknowledge it, is that men are conditioned not to communicate. And you say, Coach, what do you mean? That's no excuse. And I say, okay, when a man is young, what do we tell a young boy? We tell him, don't share your emotions. Suck it up. Don't be no little bitch. He said, if something wrong with you, keep it to yourself. How many times, y'all, have you all heard somebody tell a little boy that? How many times? Just raise your hand. How many times? How many times have you told maybe your brother, maybe somebody in your family was told that? I was told that. But you know what happens when you tell a little boy that? Is then he grows up to be emotionally handicapped. Because what he realizes is that if I share my emotion, it is a sign of weakness, right? And so what I'm telling you is that is the reason why I want you all to understand it is about nurturing the conversation. Because women have been taught, groomed to communicate. You've been taught to want to share your emotions. And so this is where coaching comes in. And what coach teaches you in the communication class is how do you get a man to open up? How do you get a man to share his thoughts, his feelings, his desires, his fears? How do you get him to do that? And when you get him to you get him to do that by creating conversation, while even if you have to share first, even if you have to share something, what you're doing is setting the stage. You're creating the foundation for reciprocity. Reciprocity is if I believe that you're vulnerable, because what did I tell y'all what intimacy is? Intimacy is not sex. Intimacy is sharing thoughts, ideas, vulnerability. That's what intimacy is. If I see you being intimate, I didn't say give me sex, but I see you being intimate, all I'm doing is setting the stage for reciprocity. And so, how many of you, if you be honest, how many of you have gotten upset because you say a man didn't communicate. How many? Anybody? Okay, that's three, four, five. Okay, six. List goes on. Seven, eight, nine, 10. Okay, we can continue on. Quite a few of you, right? So what I'm telling you is if your need is conversation, then start the conversation. Now granted so we live in a world. Here's what we live in a world of texting, DMing, inboxing, but we don't talk much. We communicate faster than ever, but we communicate less than ever. And so what I tell you is this. I'm gonna kick something to you. If a man only wants to text you, he doesn't want to seriously get to know you. And some people are like, Coach, oh, they hate when I say, Coach, what? I don't like to talk on the phone. He may not like to talk on the phone. You may not like to talk on the phone. But when you really want to get to know somebody, you're willing to talk on the phone. You're willing to talk in person. You're willing to get to know, because you can never get to know a person via text DM, because you take away 93% of how we communicate. 60% of communication is facial expression, gestures, all of that. 60%. We're looking at 33% is tone of voice. 7% is what we actually say to each other, and it's less than that when you jump on text, when you talk about DM, because there is no emotion attached to it. Yes, Makita, you had a question. I said, if he only wants to text you, he doesn't want to seriously get to know you. Okay? Does anybody dispute that so I can prove it? Okay. I just was wondering. All right. Next, number 4, we're talking about emotional needs, recreational companionship. Let's do something together. Let's be together. Let's go to the park. Let's play tennis. Let's shoot ball. And see, here's the thing. A man may want to hang out with his partners, but if he into you, he want to hang out with you too. Let's go to the game together. Okay? Number 5, honesty and openness. I put these together. A lot of people want you to be open, but they don't necessarily want you to be honest. Okay? Some people want you to be honest, but you ain't really open. And so if it's a need of yours for the person to be honest and open, then that's where it falls, category. Number 6, attractiveness of your partner. Attractiveness is subjective. What's attractive to you? And this is the part I tell people. I say, what's attractive? People think, this is what kills me. This is what I tell women. Women think, a lot of them, not all, I don't want to categorize all, that a lot of us are bound. We are imprisoned by social media, because we look at the ladies, the people on social media, and they showing ass shots, and they showing certain kinds of shots, and you saying, my body doesn't look like that. And then I say, that is not what attractiveness is. Attraction is the last class, the last pillar is attraction. Attraction is, your body is a small part of it. It's just part of it, yes. It wants somebody, but it's much more than that. Attractiveness is comprehensive. It's comprehensive. And there are things that you can do to make yourself look more attractive. But when you fall into this mindset that my body only is what makes me attractive, you already lost. Because think about it. Y'all women don't like a certain, all of them like a guy that's 6'9" and slim. Some like bigger guys. Some like smaller guys. I mean, men are the exact same way. I love a plus size woman. I married one. And I'm just saying, what we have to realize is that the only thing we have to realize is that person, if attractiveness is high on their list, it's what's attractive to them. Okay? And some people, attractiveness is not as high on the list because you might see them together with someone who may not be as attractive, but what they're doing is meeting the other needs on the list. Whereas attractive might be 7, 8, 9, but they're meeting the other emotional needs, conversation, attention, financial support. I don't know. Number 7, financial support. Enough said. We done talked about finances and relationships. How important is that to you? Some people it's not as important because they got their own money. Some people it's super important. Some people just want you to be able to carry your weight. You ain't got to make more money than me. So, number 8, domestic support. All right. Number 8, domestic support. I need you to help around the house. I need you to clean. I need you. I need you to be say, you know what? I need you to help me with these kids. Oh, I need you to keep a clean house. I need you to clean. Okay, domestic support. 9, family commitment. How much time do you spend with the family? If he working all the time and you always at the job, you are I laugh because a lot of women say, I want a guy that's making a certain amount of money. A lot of young women, some. And I say, well, okay, then you do know everything has a cost. Ain't nothing free, y'all. If you're gonna get a man that's making that kind of money, then more than likely, now some cases he can work from home and he making money, but a lot of times he gone. A lot of times he working, and you might want him to be with you, but if he's working, so you gotta weigh out the cost, count the cost. Number 9 is family commitment, and last but not least, of the 10 basic needs is admiration. So right here, I want you to put either admiration or adoration. Admiration or adoration. Men want admiration, women want adoration. Do you guys understand that? That's where when you admire a man associates, I always tell people, a man wants respect more than love. He wants to respect and admire him more than love because when you respect and admire him, he believes that you do love him. See the difference? A woman wants you to adore her. She wants you to adore her when she knows she's loved, okay? All right? Then her emotional needs are met. Now, these 10 needs. So, this is what I do with my couples. I'm going to show y'all how to do this. All right, check this out. All right. Oh, coach, man, you brilliant, boy. I swear to God. Okay. I sometimes I go off on a tangent. Yeah, I tell myself, you're right. I speak it. I am a genius. Speak that. Yes. Y'all gonna speak it too. Oh, wait a minute. I'm missing something. All right. So I'm missing something that's not on here. But I'm gonna write. I'm gonna give it to y'all. First thing you have to do is each one of these emotional needs. I want everybody to take a look at what you do is you take these 10 needs, right? And then you create a list of your top 3. So, of these 10, I want you to rank them. Just rank them. 1 is the most important. 2, right up there. And 3, right up there. Then rank 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. Number them. This is going to be your homework. So just so you know, this is going to be your homework. You're going to rank them. All right? You're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? And you can't have 2 threes. Nope. 2 fours. Nope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, here's what you do. You say, okay, if this is how you do it, you say, okay, if only 3 of my needs they were meeting, and they met these needs consistently, be it daily, be it weekly, or monthly, or however, okay, then these are the three that I want met. Okay? Because no one is going to be perfect. But these are the things that make me know that this person loves me, has an affinity for me. You're meeting my emotional stopgaps. I'm creating emotional connections with you based on this. And then what you're going to do is when you get in a relationship, you're going to ask your partner, what are your top 10? Number these from 1 to 10. Yeah! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Now, it is not going to be easy because it makes you think about your own desires, your own needs. It makes you reflect on who you are, your self awareness. And so when your self awareness comes into the picture, you say, I really do need conversation. I feel love when I get conversation. I feel connected when I get conversation. I feel intimate when I get conversation. And so, and then when you ask the other person, then what you're going to do, here's what happens next. Then you're going to look at your list and you're going to look at their list. All right. Oh, sorry. All right. You're going to look at your list and you're going to look at their list, right? So, what does it mean? Now here's where it gets dicey. What if my top three needs? I'm gonna go back through them. Okay. What if my first need, in my top three needs, because this happened, y'all. I know a couple. Hers was, okay, financial support. Hers was honesty and openness and family commitment. Those three. Okay. Okay. Financial support, open and honesty, and financial commitment. Write those down, y'all. Write those down. Okay. His said sexual fulfillment. Okay. Attractiveness of my partner and family commitment. Okay. Now, follow me on this. Follow me on this. Hers, the top three, she valued him going to work. Okay. Him being open and honest and him spending time with the family. Right. Now, she didn't value giving sex up. She ain't value bending that thing over. None of that. She didn't value that. Now, when he went out and worked his butt off, the things that she valued, got home, brought the money home, spent time with the family, things that she wants, two of her needs, right? But she didn't try to keep herself up at all. All right, she was running around with a rag, do rag on, head rag on all the time, and wasn't giving him nothing, right? But he wanted to spend time with the family too. What do y'all think happened in the relationship? What do y'all? What? Okay, if you heard this, oh, and he cheated, and he cheated. I am not. I am not condoning that. But let me ask you a question. But I saw the writing on the wall. I saw it. Because why, y'all? Not because he says, I'm going to just go out here and hit something. I'm going to just go out here and smash something. No, because he felt like his emotional needs weren't being met. And listen to me. Let me show you how to make this work. Coach going to show you. It is not that you have to meet every emotional need. It is not that. It is that you have to want to. Notice what I just said. Yeah, she can't have sex every night. Okay, maybe she couldn't. And the way he told me was, I get it if she couldn't have sex every night, but once a month, come on, cuz. He said, Coach. He said, Coach. I don't want to get graphic, but anyway, he was like, Coach. I said, I get it, and when I brought the emotional needs. Now she was like, and guess what she did? This is the part that stung. When I brought them in for coaching, I went through all of this. And she said, is that all you want, sex? All you ever want is sex? And then I stepped in and I said, is all you want is somebody to work and give you money? Is all you, oh, she ain't like when I said that. I said, all you want is somebody to do that? I said, stop condemning what a person needs. If he needs that, that's what he needs. Then the discussion needs to be around how can you meet some of those needs? It is not that I can do it that way. Because one of the needs they both had was spending time with the family. The reason, but her thing was, and part of it is, her thing was, why do I need to dress up? And I said, it ain't that you need to dress up. It's just that he wants you looking a certain way. He wants you to be attractive. He wants you to be the person you were attractive. You were attractive when y'all met. You got your hair done. And then she's like, that was before kids. I said, but wait a minute. I said, he understands. He loves you even with the weight that you gain. He loves every part of you. But you don't seem to think that his needs are that important. And so here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say, it happens both ways, y'all. It happens to men and women. That was just a coaching client that I had. It happens to men that don't want to have conversations with their wives or with their partners. And then the partner, you know what she do? What happens? She start talking to somebody else. She start having conversations with somebody else that want to talk to her. And y'all, I'm not saying everybody resorts to cheating. They don't. Some people just withdraw from the relationship. Some people withdraw from the relationship to one day they say, it's over. I'm done. And so what I say is, what we're going to do is we're going to identify, number one, write this down. Be conscious of my own emotional needs. Okay? Be conscious of my own emotional needs. Number two, be conscious of my partner's emotional needs. Okay? And number three, create a plan, create a strategy. The both of you discuss how we're going to meet each other's needs and how feasible it is. But what happens is if you don't discuss it, then what did I tell you at the beginning of class? What is the one reason? What is the number one reason relationships don't work? Uncommunicated, uncommunicated expectations. What is a need? A need is an expectation. I expect you to meet this need because of the unwritten contract. The unwritten contract, y'all. And once you realize that part, now when you begin looking at your relationships like a contract that my part in this contract is to meet your emotional needs. And when you meet that person's emotional needs, they always feel like they're in love. Y'all see how we bring it home?